I think it should be coming up now. If so, hello everybody. I don't know if it's 100% working yet, so I'll have to go and check on YouTube on my phone. But we are going to be watching Zandvoort qualifying and hopefully the race tomorrow. I'm just thinking if I will be able to. I think I should be able to. And as you guys can see in the title, it's my last weekend at home before I move away to university. So this is my last week at home, starting now. Let's see if it's working. I'm just waiting to see if it's actually working or not. It should be. I'll go and close and open YouTube again. Let's have a look. Is it working? So this is my last week at home. Yep. Starting now. Right, so there we go, it's working. I'll go and quickly promote it on Instagram and then we will properly get it going. Hang on a second. Okay, and then there we go. Okay, perfect. So F1 qualifying starting in a few minutes. The graphic isn't very good in the back, so apologies for that. I hastily made it in like 20 minutes, so let's just get it started. I've got the driver standings up, and as you can see, 9 points separating Oscar Piastri and his teammate Lando Norris in the driver's standings coming into this weekend. Oscar and Lando look to be the two that are fighting for pole position. In FP3, they were some distance ahead of everybody else. But one driver that actually looked really, really impressive was Fernando Alonso, believe it or not. Despite the fact that he is down in 11th in the driver standings currently, tied with Esteban Ocon for 10th. But despite that, he's actually looked really quick this weekend, as have Aston Martin. And it's clear that they are going to be a team that are very, very quick this weekend. So what do you guys think, though? What do you guys think is going to be happening? I'm going to put on some classical music in the background. Trying to see if I can get it sorted. Properties. I think that should be it. Right, so now I've got some classical music on in the background. Don't know if you guys can actually hear it, but I've got it on. I am going to hopefully get a stream up for it. I wouldn't be able to watch it if I accidentally clicked on word counter instead of what I was actually looking for. Oh, I love this. Nice bit of classical music. Man United are on in an hour, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that as well. This season has not been good for me as a United and Celtic fan. Awful time of it in Europe, and not great with the... Oh, I love this. Nice bit of classical music. Man United are on in an hour, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Right, that should be it all good now. You should be able to hear it a little bit in the background, hopefully. There we go. Okay, right. I've got it working. I've got a stream up and running. So now we can just chill for a bit, and we can have a little look at what the driver standings are. So you can see on the left, as I was talking about a minute ago, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris first and second in the driver standings, and then it's in third place, Max Verstappen on 187 points. Now this is going to be interesting, the battle for third between the three drivers, third to fifth. Max 15 points ahead of George Russell, and then George Russell 19 points ahead of Charles Leclerc. So if you don't know how the scoring system works in Formula 1, it works like this. So there are obviously 20 cars in the field. 10 of them score points. So whoever finishes inside the top 10 come the end of the race finishes in the points. You get 1 point for 10th, 2 for 9th, 4 for 8th, 6 for 7th, 8 for 6th, 10 for 5th, 12 for 4th, 15 for 3rd, 18 for 2nd, and 25 for 1st. So that's how the pointing system works, and as you can see on the screen, everybody apart from the two of the three Alpine drivers, Franco Colapinto and Jack Doohan, have scored points this season. The most victories I think has gone to Oscar, as far as I'm aware. Four drivers, have won races this season. Oscar, actually, this classical music is a bit too loud now. Tell you what, I think I'll just get rid of it. I tried it and didn't work. So there's been four drivers that have won races this season. The drivers in the front four positions in the championship. Piastri and Norris have won quite a few times this season. Verstappen won in Suzuka, and George Russell won in Canada. Charles Leclerc's been on the podium. He finished second in Monaco, and I think he took another second place somewhere else. And he's taken a pole position. He took pole position last time out in Hungary, or was it Belgium last time? I can't remember which one of the two it was, but he took pole in Hungary. Wasn't able to win though. Lewis Hamilton's taken a sprint victory, but he's not won a sprint. Not won a main race or gotten on a podium in the main race so far this season. Kimi Antonelli has finished on the podium once in Canada and took a sprint pole. Alex Albon has been in the points quite a lot this season, but not been on the podium. Nico Hulkenberg took out an incredible third place at the British Grand Prix, and I was there to witness it. And then every other driver has just scored points and sprint points as well. So in the sprint, how the points work is the top 8 finish in the points, and it goes 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So very simple, even simpler than the Formula 1 format. So there we go. That's the view of the Zandvoort circuit. We're getting ready to lock in for qualifying, and McLaren are looking very, very strong. So what are you guys' predictions? Let me know down in the comments. Tell you what, I think I'll see if I can get a poll going for who you guys think will be on pole. If I can get my Streamlabs connected to it. Come on, where are you? Not Streamlabs, sorry, OBS. I'm so used to using Streamlabs. Right. Where is... why can't I open the stream chat? I'll see if I can get a poll going, and then you guys can have your say on what you think. Here we go. Right, so... who do you reckon will be on pole? And then I'll put Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, and then Max Verstappen, and I'll put Fernando Alonso as the fourth option. Right, so let's see what you guys think. I've started a poll for who you guys reckon will be on pole. I've I hope you guys like the sort of setup change that I've made. I decided to switch things up a little bit for streaming. And this is only going to be temporary because I'm moving away next week, and I am very excited about that. So on the 6th of September, I'm moving to university. And yeah, it's going to be so much fun. So on the Saturday, I'm moving in, and then on the Monday is my 18th birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to try, so in case you guys don't know, this will probably be a video that goes out on my YouTube, but I am moving away to university to study journalism at Edinburgh Napier in Edinburgh. So I have lived, I'll just give the general area, which is Perth. I've lived in Perth basically my whole life, in that sort of area. The area is Perth and Kinross. I've lived there my entire life. I've lived on the same street my whole life, and so having this move is very, very strange, but I'm very much looking forward to it. A very nice change, independence and everything, staying in a flat, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm doing journalism studies. I actually am not 100% sure when term actually starts because I've not got my timetable through yet. However, as I said, I'm moving in on the 6th of September. That's when I'm getting my keys and everything, and that's when I'm actually moving in, but I'm not properly moving in until the 7th. That's when all my equipment's gonna be moved to my flat. And then the 8th is my 18th birthday, so I'm gonna celebrate my 18th birthday on stream, actually. I think I'm going to have a stream for my 18th birthday. Yeah, so we've got 4 minutes until qualifying starts. 2 o'clock is when it starts officially. They've got the graphic up, so 4.2 kilometers of the Zandvoort circuit, 72 laps, the lap record of 108 in qualifying, the race lap record of 111.0 set in 2021 when Lewis Hamilton took the fastest lap. And there's lots and lots of chances to go for a... Oh. Sorry, the stream glitch there. There's not loads of overtaking opportunities at Zandvoort. The main overtaking opportunity is at turn 1. However, what's quite interesting is despite the fact that there's not many overtaking opportunities, the Dutch Grand Prix actually has the Grand Prix with the most amount of Formula 1 overtakes in history, because in 2022, the most amount of overtakes in F1 history actually happened. So there was, I'm trying to see where the info is, or is it 2023? It was either 2022 or 2023. I think it was 2023 actually. It was. So there was 186 overtakes in the Dutch Grand Prix in 2023, just 2 years ago, which is quite mental to think about. And yeah, we're very much looking forward to the final 2 Dutch Grand Prix in 2025 and 2026 before they eventually leave the calendar. Of course, the Dutch Grand Prix, a lot of history at Zandvoort. First ever race here in a Formula 1 race was in 1952, which was won by Alberto Ascari. And it remained on the calendar consistently from the late 1950s all the way until the mid-1980s, with the occasional year out due to either financial issues or track safety conditions. And there's been some incredible names that have won here over the years. In 1985, Niki Lauda took his final Grand Prix victory. Max Verstappen is the only Dutch driver to have won his home Grand Prix and to even be on the podium at his home Grand Prix. Alain Prost won here. So did the likes of, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Mario Andretti. He took his final Grand Prix win here. James Hunt took his first win at Zandvoort. Jackie Stewart won there. So did Jackie Ickx in 1971 in an incredible race with Pedro Rodriguez. And yeah, this is going to be a very exciting qualifying session. And will we have a new winner on the list of Dutch Grand Prix winners come tomorrow evening? Potentially. I mean, there's a decent chance with Oscar Piastri looking very, very strong this weekend, as well as Aston Martin, because despite the fact that Zandvoort is a very historical track, Fernando Alonso has never actually won at Zandvoort. His best result was second in that 2023 race, which was very, very, very wet. So I think he was second in that race. I'm just going to go and check that. Was he second? I feel like he was. Yeah, he was. And yeah, Gasly was third. So it looks like it could be raining tomorrow as well, which is going to play up in the conditions. F1 Academy was on earlier, and qualifying was initially wet there, and there was a massive track evolution. And eventually, Maya Vug took pole position for her home race. Second was Alicia Palmovsky, and in third was Ella Lloyd. So Dorian Pan wasn't even in the top 3. But let's get ready to rumble with this. Hang on a second, it's been a bit annoying. Let's see. It's not really letting me. There we go. Okay, so qualifying has officially started now. Well, for you guys it probably has. I'm a little bit behind. But qualifying is about to start. 18 minutes for Q1. So how Q1 worked is 5 drivers get eliminated. So the top 15 go through, the bottom 5 are eliminated, and that is where they will most likely start for the race as qualifying officially gets underway. The mega amount of Dutch fans are doing the Mexican wave, and the stream is lagging again, which is great. I'm having to flick between streams basically, guys, so there's going to be a lot of issues. Okay, there we go. Right. So currently Yuki Tsunoda on board with, so if you want to sync up with me, currently I'm at 1709. And Tsunoda looking a bit stronger this weekend, 7th in FP2 and 12th in FP3 as it lags again. But Red Bull are looking decent with Max Verstappen. They're not looking as strong as they were in 2023 or in 2022 or in 2021 because, of course, Max won all 3 of those races, a very, very strong record at the track. And there's Dr. Helmut Marko, the sort of head honcho at Red Bull, talking to whoever it is. Ollie Behrman on the track right now as well. Behrman racing here in Formula 2 a few years ago, and in Formula 3 as well, as far as I can remember. He's looking okay. Haas having very, very mixed season. You know, there's some weekends, I remember Behrman saying, there's some weekends where, you know, we're strong and we don't think we're going to be strong. And then there's other weekends where we're completely off the pace when we think we're going to be quick. And one great example of that was in Austria. Despite, you know, them having some great success there over the years, they only scored 1 point there with Ocon, who's having a very good season, as you can see on the left of your screen. Because he is currently 10th in the standings with 27 points. Hang on a second. Have I got my VPN on? Oh, VPN. Oh, must be doing something dodgy. No, I'm not. I'm just checking if that's going to help out at all with watching the broadcasts. Yeah, so I just realised because I've got it muted, I can actually put on the audio now. So, Behrman on his lap. It keeps lagging. So annoying. It's so frustrating, guys. It's so frustrating trying to find a stream that actually... Because Sky Go's being a bit tappy with me right now, which isn't very good. So, I'm trying to figure out what can I put on. Where is it? Where is it? F1 Dutch qualifying, there we go. Right, hopefully this works. So Behrman on his lap. Tsunoda's the first to set a time. It was a 1:10.6, then it's Gasly on a 1:10.9, a Colapinto on a 1:11.1, and then Ocon just behind him. Behrman beats all of them, goes first with a 1:10.2. Leclerc's actually down on Behrman, believe it or not, despite the fact that he's in a Ferrari. And Ferrari have had a strong history here over the years. Didier Pironi took his final Formula 1 podium here in 1982. And some great drivers of theirs have won at the Dutch Grand Prix. As I mentioned, they were the very first team to win the Dutch Grand Prix when it became part of the Formula 1 World Championship in 1952. The first winner was actually a guy called Louis Rosier, though, believe it or not. In 1950, but it was a non-championship event back then. But every single one of those Dutch Grand Prix has been held at the same circuit, which is Circuit Zandvoort. And oh my goodness, this stream is quite a way bit behind, so that's not very good. Here we go. So Leclerc was 4 tenths down on Behrman. Here comes Hamilton across the line, and Hamilton goes only slightly quicker than Behrman. We've got a yellow flag, and it is Stroll, apparently. Let's see, is it? Let's find out if it is, and drum roll, please. Yep, it's Stroll. So Stroll's had an incident, and just like that, Stroll has ruined any chance he has of doing well by the look of things, because it looks like... Does he have an issue? Does he have issues with his car? Has he caused damage to it? I can't see anything. Oh, he hit the wall at the final corner, the final braking zone of the track. I can't remember the name of the corner off the top of my head. I remember looking at the list of corner names, but I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. Skygo still isn't working for me, which is very annoying. I'm gonna do something a little bit weird, and that is I'm gonna put it on my phone and then keep an eye on the stream on my computer, because for some reason Sky just isn't working on me, so I'll put it on my phone. There we go. Right, so I'm gonna lower the volume. Oh, great. I've put it on lock screen. Right, there we go. So now we've got it. Now we've got an actually stable, an actually stable stream going. So that's good. So Hamilton's still first from Behrman for now, although that could change very, very quickly. And I just realised you guys cannot see me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the, if I can move this, there we go. Right, there we go. Now you can see me a lot easier. So, now Verstappen on his lap, and he goes top by almost half a second from Lewis Hamilton, which is a very, very good time from him. Will that be enough to get him through into Q2 automatically? You never know, because, you know, with the track conditions, track evolution is very, very heavy around the Zandvoort circuit. And Aston Martin are going to have to change Stroll's entire sort of chassis, and I can't hear what he's saying on the radio. He said, that's done, I guess, huh? And then he said, we'll see what we can do. So Stroll, not very optimistic about getting back out there, but his team trying to remain optimistic, as there's a replay of what happened to him on his lap. And he just gets onto the grass and spins. Stroll making a very, very rookie-like mistake there. You know, that's the sort of mistake that somebody who isn't very experienced at the Zandvoort circuit would do. And what he's done is he's gone to try and get to the curb, the entry curb, but he's done it too early. He's turned in too early and he's gone too close to the grass and he's hit it and spun. Pretty simple mistake there from the Canadian. And while that's happening, there's only 9 drivers that have actually set times, believe it or not. There's still a lot of drivers left to do their time. So currently the order is Verstappen, Hamilton, Behrman, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Colapinto, and then Ocon. So that means that the 2 McLarens, George Russell, of course the 2 Aston Martins, Antonelli, the 2 Williams, the 2 Racing Bulls, and the Sauber Bortoleto haven't done a time yet. However, one driver that is on a lap right now is the Mercedes driver, George Russell. He is coming in towards the last couple of corners now, and he also made a similar mistake to Stroll there by the look of things, but he managed to get away with it as he comes out the final corner and comes towards the timing line. He sets a 1:10 flat, which is 0.3 down on Max Verstappen. Lando Norris heading into the similar section of track as Russell, the bit where Stroll crashed the final couple of corners, and he comes out of the banking, a very historic banking, to come across the line to set his lap, and he sets a 1:09, but it's quicker than Verstappen, and he goes top of the standings with a 1:09.4. Oscar Piastri next up, his McLaren teammate, and Piastri slots in just behind. What's been a clear theme this weekend is Piastri stronger in the first sector, Norris stronger in the second, and then very even in the third. But it looks like Piastri was slower than Norris in the first 2, but quicker in the third. Alonso comes across the line, and he goes into 4th, and Alonso's been basically the best of the rest. He's been the 3rd quickest guy this weekend, and that lap was a very strong one, puts him in 4th. Antonelli's in 5th now, ahead of Russell, so Russell's got a bit of time to improve on anyway, based on his qualifying form against Antonelli this season, as Liam Lawson goes into 8th, Hadjar into 7th. So at the moment it is Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Alonso, Antonelli, Russell, Hadjar, Lawson, Hamilton, Behrman, Sainz, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Colapinto, and then Ocon. 3 drivers left to set a time. One of them is Stroll, who's in the pits. One of them they're on board with right now, and that is Gabriel Bortoleto. And the last one, who was Alex Albon, just goes up into 12th now. So in the knockout zone at the moment are Pierre Gasly, what? Oh, there's a time screen glitch. Hülkenberg, Gasly, Colapinto, Stroll, and Bortoleto are currently in the drop zone. However, Bortoleto is coming out of the final part of the track now, and he's looking the car's looking a bit unsteady, and Hülkenberg's only in 16th at the moment, so that's going to be his aim. As I say, that Hülkenberg goes into 8th, looking very, very quick on that lap. Bortoleto goes only 14th, and that's to be expected because his car was all over the place. He was very, very squirrely, and is that Nico's daughter? I think that's Nico's daughter. I'm not sure, or maybe it's just a lucky fan. But Gasly goes into 6th, while Ferrari are trying to figure out how Leclerc is down 14th and Hamilton 16th, sorry, and how now 17th, because cars are constantly improving around the track, and how Hamilton's 11th, and Leclerc is currently only a 10th up on Bortoleto. But I say only 10th, that would get him up to 13th at the moment. Ferrari just not having the pace once again this weekend. And Liam Lawson saying for Red Bull to check the floor as Yuki Tsunoda improves to 16th, but he's still right at the bottom of right at the top of the elimination zone. As I say that, Leclerc jumps him and goes into only 14th. So it looks like the top 3 drivers are safe. However, potentially everybody else looks like they might have to do another lap, because there's only half a second between Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc, who's down in 14th. There's a timing glitch right now which says, oh wait, no, it's not a timing glitch. They're just not showing Albon's time at the moment. But Lance Stroll's now out of the car, so it looks like his qualifying session is done. All Aston Martin can do now is watch Fernando Alonso work his magic, as he has so often done. It may have been 13 years since his last pole position at the German Grand Prix in 2012, but he's still a very, very, very quick driver. Lawson in 10th at the moment. He might have some floor damage, and this is the incident that he was talking about, which might have given him the floor damage. So he comes into the banking, and does he get himself on the curb? Yes, he does, and it's very easy to do that oversteer moment on the exit of the first banking of the lap of the 2. And he's going to be wanting that checked to see if he does have damage. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton, that'll be why he stopped his lap, which was an improvement in the first 2 sectors on his previous best, because he ran wide at the chicane in the final section of the track. And we've got 5 minutes left. Nobody's out on track at the moment. We're all just sort of in limbo waiting for the drivers to come out of their pit boxes and enter onto the track like a knight on his horse, as we watch Fernando Alonso, who's currently 4th, and I've got the names of the corners up now, so there we go, that's better. So there we go. I'm just going to do that, and then I can actually see everything. Let's see. Yep, Streamlink's fine at the moment, so that's good. Hang on a second. There we go. And there we go. So 4.5 minutes left. Currently in the drop zone. Bortoleto, Tsunoda, Colapinto. I can't see who's 19th right now. And obviously Stroll. Who is it that's 19th? It doesn't say. They haven't actually got the timing up at the moment. So we kind of have to wait until it actually comes up with what's happening, basically. Which isn't great. But anyway, here we go. We're actually getting cars onto the circuit now, which is good to see. We have got Oscar Piastri out on the track, the McLaren, and I'm surprised that they're going out for another run, because there is quite a substantial gap between Piastri and Norris and the knockout zone, which is Bortoleto, which is 8 tenths with Piastri and 9.5 with Bortoleto. The other driver that's in the knockout zone currently is Ocon in 19th. So at the moment it's Stroll, Ocon, Colapinto, Tsunoda, and Bortoleto, who are not going to be progressing, but there's still another 3.5 minutes, so still got a lot of time left for something to change, as there's Stroll, who has costed himself a decent starting position at a track where it's very difficult to overtake. If this was, say, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, or maybe the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, maybe he'd be slightly, he'd have a slightly better chance. And of course there is rain tomorrow, and Stroll is known for having his moments in the rain, but it's going to be difficult for him because of where he's starting. So the projected knockout time is going to be, give or take, a 1 minute 10, and when I say give or take, I mean within 2 tenths of that, either way. And currently there are 4 drivers who are in the 1 minute 9s, which are Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, and Alonso, but it said 2 tenths of a margin, so that would mean that everybody apart from Piastri and Norris would not be 100% safe. But anything can happen here. If there's a red flag, then that means that there might be, an end to the session. It's tell you what, I will put on some non-copyrighted music, but I won't put on classical stuff. I'll put on the playlist that I've got. There we go. And oh wait, I can't play any of these. Oh dang, never mind. I'll just play this then. Leaky inspired. Let's get this on. So Piastri's improving at the moment. He's on a very, very good lap. Right, there we go. So here comes Oscar Piastri coming out of the Arie Luyendyk bocht, and he's coming across the line out of turn 14, and he goes top. Now it's a rainbow lap because it's green in the first sector, purple in the second, and yellow, which means he didn't improve in the third. So in case you don't know what the lap times, or what, sorry, the colours mean on screen, if you're watching the actual F1 broadcast, it means that basically if you're green, that means you're improving on your lap, but you're not the best on the track. Yellow means you're not improving on your own time, and purple means you are the quickest driver out on the circuit. That's what that means basically. So if you see me referring to green, purple, and yellow sectors, that is what they are. And speaking of green sectors, Alex Albon is improving in the first sector of the track. He's currently 15th, right on the edge of being knocked out of this session, as up into 7th, I think it was Hadjar went up to 7th there, as Albon coming round the Hans Ernst bocht and into the Kumo bocht and Arie Luyendyk bocht to complete his lap. He comes out of the banking, the Arie Luyendyk bocht, named after the Indy 500 winner and one of the earlier Dutch heroes of motorsport, as Albon goes 5th, a very good lap. That could be enough to see him through. And then we've got the heavily under pressure Charles Leclerc, 15th at the moment. If this isn't an improvement, then he could have his qualifying farewell and be out in Q1, as Pierre Gasly goes up to 7th place, so now Alonso down to 8th. Leclerc half a second down on Piastri's time, and if he doesn't lose much in the final sector, that would see him go into the top 10, but even then that probably still wouldn't be safe enough, as Bortoleto is a 10th up on Leclerc's time. Let's see, as they cross the line, it is going to be a 1 minute 9.9 for Charles Leclerc. Is that going to be enough to see him through? He goes into 9th. Meanwhile, Gabriel Bortoleto up into 13th, as Verstappen has finished his session. He's 4th. George Russell is now up to 3rd, and he's coming to the pits, but it's still a McLaren 1-2 up front. Esteban Ocon currently in 17th, trying to improve his lap. Can he get himself into Q2? Well, Liam Lawson certainly has. He's gotten himself up into 5th. But where is Ocon going to go? Is he going to go above Hülkenberg? No, he's not. So Esteban Ocon, the second driver officially eliminated. Franco Colapinto is fighting to keep himself in qualifying, and he gets himself into 15th. But Yuki Tsunoda is going to come across the line and go into 12th, so knocking Colapinto out. Behrman is also out, so he's now in 19th. Meanwhile, the final driver to cross the line, what we know is one Sauber is going to be in Q2 and one isn't. Is it going to be Hülkenberg or Bortoleto? It is Bortoleto. So yet again, Gabriel Bortoleto out-qualifying his teammate Nico Hülkenberg, and into Q2 is, out of Q1, is Gabriel Bortoleto. Out of Q1 is Franco Colapinto, Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Ollie Behrman, and Lance Stroll. So both Haas is out in Q1, but all the other 9 teams are at least having one car in Q2. Going through, Gabriel Bortoleto, Carlos Sainz, Isaac Hadjar, Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and I couldn't see who the other 8 were. I'll see if I can get that back. Pierre Gasly, Kimi Antonelli, Alex Albon, Liam Lawson, Max Verstappen, George Russell, and the 2 McLaren drivers of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. And now they've gone to an ad break. So that's the end of Q1. So I'm going to see if I can add any text. I might add a bit of text at the bottom. So let's see. Out in Q1. Colapinto, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Behrman, and Stroll. Right, there we go. And make that smaller. See, this is the thing, when you're making makeshift graphics, it can be quite difficult sometimes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it there. Just realised you can... What's happening here? How come you can see, like... Why can you see... Oh, there we go. That's better. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an effect on this. Transform... Or is it... Oh wait, no, sorry, it's filters. It's filters... or is it... Yeah, so it's filters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a scroll. And... go like... that. And then what I'm going to do is... space it out a fair bit. Right, there we go. So that's what we've got in terms of drivers out in Q1. So Q2 is going to be starting in a few minutes, and the other 15 drivers are through. I just realised you can't actually see this now, so what I'll do is I'll move that there. There we go. Right. So, what were your guys' thoughts on Q1? Okay, Luke's in the chat and he's saying the gun never jams, and holy, I'm not going to repeat that word, you are way behind. Yes, that is true. Oh, there's a top fans bit. So, guys, the more and more you chat, the more and more XP you get to be my top fan, apparently. I don't know how this works. I'm just guessing based on the fact that Luke's top. Mr. Storm, aka Luke, is top with 50 XP at the moment. So, yeah, that is how things are going at the moment. While we're, waiting for Q2 to start, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the plan for the channel going forward, because I mentioned about me moving to university. So I don't know how often I'm going to be in class in university, so I can't 100% say anything yet. But you'll notice that I've been posting more shorts on YouTube, more reels on Instagram, more TikToks on TikTok. I'm going to try and do that more often and try and make, shorter videos, but also try and consistently upload longer ones as well. Editing does take a while. Sometimes, so that's one issue that I have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of this and make it really, really bright. So let's go with a good old, let's go this. Boom! Massive color. So yeah, I'm going to just quickly promote the stream one more time on Instagram, and then right, I'm going to put Q2 underway because it will be in a second, and it probably is by now because apparently I'm way behind. Aston Martin mechanics have had to work very, very hard with Stroll's car because he binned it in practice and he's binned it again in qualifying. So they're going to be trying to get this working for the race. And yeah, that's that. So as you guys can see out in Q1, call up into Hulkenberg, Ocon, Beerman and Stroll. Q2 is just about to get underway now, and there we go. Why is my thing so far behind? There it is. Right, so show chat, there we go. So most of you guys think Lando Norris is going to get pole over Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen. But what's the crack, Liam? It's Jordan from TRR. Hello. I am. The crack is good. The crack is good. That sounds so wrong. No, I don't mean that kind of crack. I mean the crack that's like conversation. Not much. Not much. Just watching F1 quali. So this is the watch along for this. I'm gonna be watching the race tomorrow as well. Gonna try and make a better graphic than the one I have right now, which is right. Wait, how do I do this? How do I do this? It's the other way. So here, I'm not very good with graphics, as you can probably tell. I've never been one for graphics. Three camera emojis caught you saying crack is good. Okay, so now look, you're no longer the number one top fan. Carl knows, aka Jordan, is number one now. Even though Luke's been literally watching my channel for like 5 years, so what is a top fan according to this is not my definition of a top fan, but people watching the channel for 5 years, they are OGs. But new viewers are very much welcome here, because we're only on 1,100 subscribers, so looking to improve that. But anyway, Q2 is underway. I've dug myself a massive hole there. Leclerc is saying that there was a fox on the entry of turn 10, which is the aptly named Bocht 10. But Leclerc on his lap now, the first lap of Q2 for the Ferrari cars, and they're the only ones actually out on track at the moment, which is rather interesting. And obviously, because Leclerc is the first one to do a lap, he has set a purple first sector, and surprisingly, he will set a purple second sector and a purple third sector until Lewis Hamilton tries to beat him. Hamilton goes green in the first sector, by the way, so Leclerc's still got a purple first sector. Hang on a second, I'll go and find the chat. There we go. I think it's whoever's commented most. Yeah, that is whoever. That is. I'm pretty sure how it works. And you get 25 XP for every comment. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, it's the first time I've been streaming in a long old while. Any bold predictions? Alonso third. I don't know if that's bold or not. But Hamilton and Leclerc have split each other. So what I mean by that is Leclerc quickest in the first sector, Hamilton quickest in the second. Leclerc goes top, a slightly slower time than in Q1, which was a 109.9 for him. It's a 110 flat, pretty much. Meanwhile, Hamilton coming across the line to set his lap, and he is a 10th down, 110.1 for him. And that will be slower than his Q1 lap as well, because he went quicker than Leclerc did, from what I can remember. And, yep, there's the Fox, and there is Charles Leclerc. And very well spotted from Leclerc. I think it's a fox. It's certainly an animal anyway. Seems pretty bold. No, I didn't. Okay, having Fernando on pole is bold. So third is not bold then. Okay, right. I've thoroughly learned that then. I just realised, is this my seat's up? Apparently my seat's up to the maximum it is. I feel like I'm lounging back a bit. Aston have, as far as I'm aware, they've brought maybe one or two, but their track just they just seem to suit the Zandvoort track very well. Obviously, they got a podium here in 2023 with Alonso, and he looked very, very strong. Okay, sorry. Okay, podium, sorry, my bad. No, it's fine, it's fine. Currently, there is a massive train to get out of the pits, and no, it's not being fronted by Jarno Trulli, or, if you're a more recent fan, Kevin Magnussen, but it is being formed by quite a lot of different drivers, so they're getting out onto the track now. The Ferraris are still the only two to have set lap times so far. What are you guys' predictions? Who do you think is going to be on pole? Any bold predictions for you guys? What do you think? Who do you think will be on pole position? Who do you think is going to be the surprise? Who do you think is going to be the biggest disappointment of the weekend? What do you guys think in the comments? And while you guys are coming up with that, I'm going to keep an eye on everybody doing their laps. So George Russell's the first one to actually start another lap, and he's only just started it now. Any thoughts on the Williams placements? Well, I mean, they're not doing any work experience, are they? Nah, I'm joking. So I think at least one of them has a chance of getting into Q3. It'll probably more likely be Albon, because Sainz has struggled with the car more this year. I think somebody's going to split Lando and Oscar. That is a controversial opinion. But George Russell is going very quick. Could it be him? Could it be Max? Could it be Fernando? Who knows? But Max and George are both going very quick right now. George setting a purple sector initially, and then Max goes even quicker than that. So these two are going to be in the battle for third with Fernando Alonso in terms of high likelihoods. And can you imagine that? Russell and Verstappen on the same row after everything that's happened in the past year or two? That would be very, very spicy. But Russell currently almost 4/10 up on the Ferraris. He's not really gained much in that middle sector. Verstappen, however, has. He's gained another half a second on the Ferraris, and it looks as though he is going to be firmly in the early 109s, while George Russell looks more likely to be going into the middle 109s. And I'm right, he goes, in fact, it's not even a middle 109, it's a 109.636. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen at 109.1. So it looks like we're going to be getting into the 108s in this session, because we haven't seen McLaren yet proving their times, and they've still got plenty of work to do because they haven't done any laps yet. Antonelli is slotted in ahead of Russell, so it seems like it takes Russell maybe, his second stint to really, really get to grips with the car, because it was the same in his first stint in Q1. Antonelli was ahead of him as Lando Norris comes round the Masters bocht and into bocht 9 and 10. He is the quickest guy on the track. Sainz did very good in FP3, but the Williams have been a bit all over the place. Yeah, that is quite valid. What's the lap record at Zandvoort? So in qualifying, it's a 108 point... I'm trying to remember what it is. Is that 108.9, is it? I'll have to check. Let me just check really quickly. Circuit Zandvoort, lap record. So the lap record in a race is a 111.0. I think the pole lap record is a 108. So we are probably going to be beating that today. Will it be now? Potentially. Well, here comes Lando Norris to come across the line. Is it going to be a 108? Yes, it is. And it says he's 1.3 seconds quicker. That's 1.3 seconds quicker than Gasly. He goes into the 108s. It's a 108.8. I don't know if that's a new lap record or not. I will have to go and check that. I'm trying to see if it says what the pole lap record. Believe it or not, the GB3 record is held by Alex Dunn. But anyway, I'm trying to see what the race, what quali lap record is. It is a, hang on a second. So qualifying is a 108.8. So Lando Norris has now beaten that, and he has now got the record for the quickest time at Zandvoort as Fernando Alonso goes into 8th. If I can just go back to that. The GOAT Alex Dunn. Yes. So Oscar Piastri goes second with a time that's just under a tenth slower than Norris. Sainz is saying check the bottom of the car in a similar vein to Lawson earlier. Leclerc, that's a good lap. Him up to 4th now. Lewis Hamilton, fastest in the middle sector. So Ferrari, absolutely going for it here. And they're not actually looking too bad. Yeah, it is a new one. They just said it on Sky Sports. Okay. Hamilton goes 4th. And that is him into the early 109s now. And the order is currently, so in the bottom 5 at the moment are Pierre Gasly, Gabriel Bortoleto, Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, and Fernando Alonso. So Alonso's in the knockout zone at the moment. The man I predicted would be 3rd. Will he improve? He probably will, and he's probably on a scrub set of tyres, which is probably why he is down in 11th. But here's a replay of Max Verstappen, who is currently 3rd in the session behind the two McLarens, and he had a bit of traffic. I think that was his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, believe it or not. And I'm guessing he is... Oh, no, it's the McLaren, sorry. They look similar in terms of the black on the car. So, don't know how I got that confused. But this is what Sainz was talking about. It was at a very different part of the track to Lawson, though. Sainz was at the last corner. Lawson was in the... I think it was Tarzan, is it? No, Tarzan's turn 1, sorry. Hugenholtzbocht at turn 3, which is the banking on the exit of that. That's where he ran over it. So while, there's not many times going on, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the track corners are. So turn 1 is Tarzan Bocht. Turn 2 is Gerlach Bocht. Turn 3, Hugenholtz Bocht, which is named after John Hugenholtz, who some people claim designed the circuit, but apparently he didn't. Then the Hunzerhoek is turn 4 and turn 5. Slottemaker Bocht, which is named after Rob Slottemaker, who was a racing legend in the Netherlands in the 1960s and 70s, and he unfortunately passed away at Zandvoort in an accident. Then we've got the Schivelacht, I think is how you pronounce it. Schivelack curb. Then you've got the Masters Bocht, which is named after the Dutch Masters event, which was held at Zandvoort over many years. I think it still is, actually. Bocht 9, which means basically turn 9. Bocht 10, which means turn 10. Then the Hans Ernst Bocht. Hans Ernst is, I think, the guy who actually owned the circuit at one point, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Then it's the Kummel Bocht and the Arie Luijendijk Bocht. And as I said earlier, Arie Luijendijk was an IndyCar legend in the 80s and 90s from the Netherlands, and one of the Dutch sort of legends of the time. It says here projected knockout time 109.5, which is half a second quicker than in Q1, which shows track evolution and also how quick the times are. And they said within 2/10, give or take. So if you set a 109.3, you are more likely to be safe. Obviously, because the quicker you go, the more likely you are to be safe. But things are looking very interesting at the moment, because we're just sort of waiting for the cars to come out onto the track. The McLarens have come out, as have Yuki Tsunoda, who's having a very good session at the moment. The two Mercedes cars, and Pierre Gasly. So Gasly's just taking his merry little time at the end of the pit lane to get out onto the track. And this is a tactic used because the more and more you wait to come out onto the track, or somebody waits to go into the track, the more pressure they are to be going quicker and thus not get their tire temps up to a good pressure. They're more likely to overheat their tires if they are like that. So we're watching as George Russell comes around. There's 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this Q2 session before we head into Q3. Funny how when the second Red Bull driver gets an updated car, they do well. Yeah, it's almost as if an update means an upgrade sometimes. But McLaren are starting their lap. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri both. Lando Norris starting his lap. It says Oscar Piastri's just gone for his out lap, so I think I got that wrong, so apologies about that. But starting his lap is George Russell in 9th place at the moment, so not where he wants to be, because that is certainly not safe. But coming into the Hugenholtz Bocht, the famous banking at turn 3 and out of turn 3 into turn 4, the Hunzerug section at the end of the first sector of the lap. Is it going to be an improvement for Russell? Yes, it is. Still 2.5 tenths down, though. As whoa, is that an engine problem, or was that just sparks coming out of the back of the car? I think it was just sparks. He is continuing on. There was a lot of smoke coming out there of the back of his car, but he's still going for it. He's still going at it, and he's now out of Bocht 10, turn 10, at the end of the middle sector, heading into the Hans Ernst Bocht, and he's improving once again. Still 3 tenths down on the McLarens, but it is an improvement for Russell, and we're seeing green sectors all across the board, as Kimi Antonelli is 4 tenths down at the moment on the McLarens, and Yuki Tsunoda is also 4 tenths down on the McLarens. It's a yellow middle sector for the Japanese Red Bull driver. Russell comes across the line to go into only 6th, which might not be enough to get him through a 109.3. Kimi Antonelli comes across the line, and he goes even slower than that, goes into 7th, a 109.5. Yuki Tsunoda comes across the line, and it's going to be a 109.6, which is a slight improvement, but he is in the sort of danger zone. And here come the guys who haven't done their laps yet. The 5 guys who are in the drop zone haven't done their laps yet, haven't finished them yet. Some of them haven't even started theirs yet. Alonso and Lawson haven't, but Gasly and Sainz are both improving on their laps as Gasly comes out of the Arie Luijendijk Bocht to come across the line. Is he going to get himself inside the top 10? Yes, he is, and drop Alex Albon out, but he is at risk. And that is his qualifying done. If any of the guys in the bottom 5 improve, he is out. And Carlos Sainz has. So Gasly is the first driver that is officially out of qualifying. Yuki Tsunoda very much at risk now in 10th. Sainz in 7th. Isaac Hadjar currently running in 9th. And he's looking very, very good here. Is Fernando Alonso going to get a lap in? Yes, he is. Just about. He got across the line just before the session ended. Isaac Hadjar goes into 7th, just ahead of Carlos Sainz. Meanwhile, Alex Albon, is he going to get into Q3? No, he's not. So that's the second driver out. Gasly and Albon are confirmed out. Bortoleto is 2 tenths down on Tsunoda's time at the moment. He needs a monster last sector to get himself through. Alonso and Lawson still need to do their laps, and Lawson is most certainly improving on his lap. as here comes Bortoleto coming out of the last corner, the Iyer Luyendijk Bocht, and he is in 11th, and it's the exact same time as Tsunoda's, but because he did it afterwards, he is out. The tiniest margins, and he is out, but it looks like it wouldn't have been enough anyway, because look at Lawson. Lawson 2/10 up on Tsunoda. Alonso only 1/10 up, so will Alonso get through here? And if so, is he going to knock Kimi Antonelli out of qualifying? Well, here comes Lawson. He needs a disastrous final sector to knock himself out, and he doesn't have a disastrous last sector. He goes into 7th, and Yuki Tsunoda is the third driver out. The fourth driver out, sorry. Fernando Alonso is into Q3 in 7th. So out in Q2, Kimi Antonelli in 11th, 12th Yuki Tsunoda, 13th Gabriel Bortoleto, 14th Pierre Gasly, and 15th Alex Albon. So going into Q3, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Isaac Hadjar, and Carlos Sainz. So now it's time for me to update this graphic and add it to out in Q2, and we've got Antonelli, Tsunoda, Bortoleto, Gasly, and Albon. So there we go. That's that updated now. So those are the guys out in Q1, and you'll see in a second, those are the guys out in Q2. So that is Formula 1 Q2 done. Now we're waiting for Q3 to begin, and not really any big shocks there. I think the biggest shock is that Alonso didn't improve in his first sector, and almost scrape. You know, it wasn't a scrape through, but it looked a bit awkward at one point for him. But there isn't really very many surprises. Gasly being out in Q2 isn't a surprise. Albon, you might have expected him to get into Q3. Bortoleto's been on a good run of form, but Sauber haven't looked very quick here. Tsunoda's just struggling with the Red Bull. He could have gotten to Q3 potentially. And then Antonelli has not been on the best run of form, but he's only 18. He's only 19, sorry. People forget that. He's only 19 years old. Like, people are expecting the world of him. And I think Canada was both a good and an awful thing for him, because it was a good thing because he got a podium, but it meant people really hiked up their confidence of him. Great Q2 session. Albon in Q2 is a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I'd say so. You'd expect Sainz to be the one that gets knocked out over Albon based on their pace this season. But if we look at the qualifying head-to-heads, let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at the head-to-head records. So if we update it now, Verstappen is now 13-0 against Tsunoda. Let's see. Russell's 14-1 against Antonelli. Alonso's 15-0 with Stroll. Gasly is 7-2 against Colapinto. Hadjar and Lawson we don't know yet because they're both into Q3. Sainz is now 8-7 with Albon. Bortoleto is now 9-6 with Hülkenberg, and then the rest we're going to find out in Q3. I think the Mercs went out too early, to be fair. Yeah, that's a valid argument, but look at where Ferrari went. I think Ferrari did their laps with about 6 minutes left. Is that including sprints? No, it's not. So the sprints, it is... Let's have a little look at sprints. So with sprints, it is Leclerc 2-1 against Hamilton, Verstappen 1-0 against Lawson, and 2-0 against Tsunoda. Antonelli 2-1 down on Russell, Alonso 2-1 up on Stroll, Gasly 1-0 up on Colapinto, Ocon 3-0 up on Behrman. Oh, I didn't do Behrman and Ocon. Behrman's now 7-8 against Ocon. Hadjar's 2-0 against Lawson. Albon is 2-1 up against Sainz, and Bortoleto 2-1 up against Hülkenberg. So there we go. 8-7 and 9-6 is pretty surprising. Yeah, Bortoleto's done a great job this season, and so is Behrman in qualifying against Ocon. But it's so surprising because of the comparisons in terms of constructors. Okay, I'm just checking. Yeah, okay. So the copyright-free playlist I'm using is copyright-free. Okay, I've checked that. I've thoroughly checked it, and it's good. So there we go. For some reason, I'm behind on the stream. Oh no, I don't want to go into the Zambert picture. There we go. Right, so Q3 final session. Who's going to be on pole? Well, according to this poll, it's going to be Lando Norris. And let's find out if it is going to be true. Lando Norris on pole is what the prediction is. And let's see what will happen. We're waiting the start of Q3. Just trying to think if there's any filler I can do, but there isn't really much apart from the fact that I can play the guitar. But yeah, I'm just gonna see if anybody's messaged me anything. Don't think so. Okay, so Q3 should be getting underway in a minute. Now, this one, it's just pure qualifying now. It's not like with Q1 or Q2 where 5 drivers drop out. This is pure the top 10 fight for pole position, and whoever's quickest gets pole. So what's quite funny is if a driver is 15th in Q1 and 10th in Q2, they can still qualify on pole, despite the fact they're bottom of the guys who go through. That's probably not going to happen because the McLarens are basically in a league of their own at the moment. So yeah, not looking great in terms of getting another team on pole. Of course, Max Verstappen's had 2 poles this season. I think George Russell got pole in Canada, and on pole in the Miami sprint was Kimi Antonelli, and Charles Leclerc was on pole in Hungary. But when it's come to the races, McLaren have always just been that one step ahead. A lot of people are saying because of the tyre wear. I am a United fan, yes. A very depressed one. I'm not even joking. United are on at 3. I love it. It's like 68% chance United win. Nope, it's never that simple. It's never that simple. When it comes to United, it is never that simple. I'm not going to be watching that on stream though. I did do football watch-alongs back in the day, but let's get Q3 underway. So, qualifying head-to-head, Piastri is 8-6 up on Norris. Will it be 8-7 or will it be 9-6? Let's find out. So, Q3 is just about to get underway right now. Actually, tell you what, I think I'm going to move my microphone stand and do that if I can. There we go. And now I'm looking closer towards the camera and I can just go like that. Anyway, here comes Q3. So we're already 40 seconds into it. We're just waiting for cars to get onto the track, and there's one car, and it's an orange one. So obviously it's a McLaren. See, what do you think about Onana and Manu being benched? Wait a minute, I didn't see what the starting lineup was. Oh, why is Manu on the bench? Oh no, it's gonna happen again, isn't it? Why are we playing? I hope we're playing a 4-3-3 today, and if we're not, why are we playing Bruno as an 8? That just, we're gonna lose. Oh my gosh, Hannibal Mabry's starting as well. If we lose, this will be so embarrassing. Like, they've got a couple good players, Burnley. They've got Dubravka, Walker, Hannibal Mabry, Ugochukwu, Brun Larson. They've got a few good players, but we should be beating them realistically. They shared it on Insta. Yeah, I've looked at it now. Onana being benched, I totally get. Like, he should be sold and he should never play for United again. They blocked me leaving. Yes, yeah, I did. I heard about that. Yeah, honestly, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. But anyway, F1 qualifying. The McLarens doing their laps. Oscar starting his time right now. And it's a purple first sector. I can see Manu coming on for Casemiro or for Fernandez. Yeah, Manu, if there was I don't see it being Bruno. I'd see it being Mount though. What they do is Amram would probably bring Mount off and bring Manu on and move Fernandez further up the pitch. But anyway, Piastri purple in the first sector, Norris green in the first sector. So first blood's been drawn and it is Piastri at the moment. However, Could Norris potentially get involved and jump him in the second sector? Well, let's find out. Norris coming through the second sector. He has been quicker than Piastri there over the course of the weekend, and he does go quicker than him in the middle sector. So it's more so about what the margins are, because in the final sector they are very, very even on pace. Piastri at 108.6, but he needs to bring. Oh yeah, Sheshko's not starting again. That's just ridiculous. Like, we spent 60 million on him just to bench him. But anyway, Norris, almost identical lap to Piastri. So even on pace the two McLarens are, both in the 108.6s. We need a good, proper holding midfielder. We can't keep so... Yeah, exactly. Russell on his lap at the moment. Two guys have set laps since the two McLarens. Russell's going to be the third. And Carlos Sainz is going to be the fourth. And Fernando Alonso is going to be the fifth. George Russell goes third, half a second down, but like we've seen already in qualifying, it takes, I'm looking over there as if that's where the camera is, it looks as though Russell takes, 2 stints to really get into the rhythm, signs a whole second, 1.3 seconds down on the on the McLaren I should say. Alonso on what is probably a scrub set at 109.9, because he has definitely got quicker pace than that. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, both greens in the middle sector. And very wobbly there for Leclerc on the exit there. It's like trying to control a wild piranha there for the Ferrari driver. And he's coming out of Arie Bocht to come across the line. And it is a 109, 0.5. As Hamilton is now coming around the Arie Bocht as well to come across the line. And it is going to be a 109.5 for Hamilton. So at the moment it is Piastri, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Hadjar, Alonso, and then Sainz. Verstappen and Lawson, the final two drivers through a lap, and Verstappen again kicking up a bit of dirt there. I just realised qualifying is going to be over exactly as the Man United match starts, so that's pretty good. But anyway, Verstappen coming around turn number 10, the Bocht 10. Lawson goes into 9th, by the way. Verstappen, the final driver to set a lap first in Q3 in the first stint. He is 2 tenths down at the moment on the McLaren, so at the moment I would put him in third. But it's going to be tight if he has a poor final sector, which, by the look of things, he hasn't. It looks very smooth on board with that Red Bull. Obviously not as quick as the McLarens, but he's also going to be in the 10... Is he going to be in the 108s? He is not. He's just about in the 109s, so the only guys in the 108s at the moment are the McLarens. Piastri and Norris quite comfortably as well. 3.5 tenths. Wow, big margin there between the McLarens and the rest of the field. But we will see. This is a replay of Lawson on his lap. He's currently 10th, bottom of Q3, but he will qualify 10th as it stands. And whoa, massive wobbly moment there for the Kiwi driving for Racing Bulls, as he's the second driver to really have a big, massive overseer moment. Charles Leclerc had one as well, but that was in a different part of the track. That was at turn 3 at Hugenholzbocht for Lawson, while Leclerc's was, I'm pretty sure it was somewhere else in the track. I think it was turn 13 or turn 12, but it was turn 12, I think. But at the moment, Piastri first, then it's Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Hadjar, Alonso, and then Sainz and Lawson. So we've got about 5.5 minutes left of Q3. Am I behind a bit? No, I'm not. There we go. 5.5 minutes now left, exactly. And yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on activity on the track. How fast could F1 cars go without a single restriction? Probably about 240, I'd probably guess. There's a video that's coming up on my feed there. But yeah, here we are. We're getting ready for the last runs of the qualifying session. Red Bull preparing Verstappen, Aston Martin preparing Alonso, Mercedes preparing Russell, Racing Bulls preparing Lawson and Hadjar, Williams preparing Sainz, Ferrari preparing Hamilton and Leclerc, and McLaren preparing Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Which one of these 10 knights in shining armour will get pole position for the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort? Well, we're going to find out in the next 4.5 to 5 minutes as we are awaiting the guys coming out onto track, the 10 drivers coming out onto track. And, well, at the moment, we're just sitting looking at the Dutch fans, the Orange Army as they're famously nicknamed. Got to go, lads. Great chatting to you. Great chatting to you. Oh, why did I go into a really weird voice there? I don't know why. Good chatting to you as well, Jordan. I don't know why I went to that voice there. Apologies. Right, yeah, so 4 minutes to go. Here we go. There's Lewis Hamilton. There is Oscar Piastri. It is going to be a battle likely between the McLarens. I don't think anybody else is going to be upsetting them, as there go the McLarens now. There comes the Ferrari. And here they are. It's like football players coming out of the tunnel to get onto the pitch to start their match. As Nelson Piquet had... well, fun fact, so 4 of the last 5 pole positions have actually been by family, because Nelson Piquet got pole for the 1985 Dutch Grand Prix, and then the 4 after that were by his, well, they're not married, but his son-in-law, Max Verstappen, and last year's was Lando Norris, and he broke that sort of duck. Will Norris get pole position again this year? Well, we will see, but Oscar Piastri, his teammate, is currently first. Norris is second in the McLaren which he won, well, it's not the same car, but the same McLaren team that he won with last year, and the same McLaren team that won with Niki Lauda back in 1985. 40 years ago, the late Austrian took victory with the outfit. Of course, a lot of people nowadays remember Niki Lauda more so for being at Mercedes. However, let's see if anything will come of this. Will Mercedes get up there? Will Russell get up there? Or will it be a McLaren 1-2? Could anybody stop the 2 McLarens? Well, we'll see, but, well, Alonso's taking his very sweet time to get out onto the track, and so is Max Verstappen, and this is going to be a little bit tight here. Very consistent qualifying run of form for Oscar Piastri, top 3 in the last 5 races, not a single pole though, 3rd in 2 of the races, and 2nd in 3 of them, and we are very much looking forward to what's going to happen here. So here comes Lando Norris. He is starting his qualifying lap, his final qualifying lap of the weekend before the Grand Prix tomorrow, and will this get him pole position? Could this give Lando Norris the upper advantage coming into the Grand Prix tomorrow, or will Oscar Piastri outdo him? Well, in the first sector, it's not an improvement for the Bristol-born driver, Glastonbury-born more specifically. Will it be a second sector improvement though? Well, it's always been the second sector where Norris has been stronger than Piastri, but Piastri marginally improving in the first sector. It's a purple first sector for him. It's always been the second sector, though, where Lando Norris has been stronger. He's been stronger around the more technical part of the circuit, and it is a purple sector for Lando Norris. Is it going to be a purple final sector, or will Oscar Piastri potentially get a purple middle sector or a green middle sector? It's going to be close between the 2 of them, as here comes Lando Norris around Arie Luyendyk bocht. It's an improvement overall for Piastri, but it's not a purple. Will it be enough for him to get pole? He is up on his time more so than Norris is, and Norris doesn't improve! So Oscar Piastri, unless a massive upset happens, is going to be on pole for the Dutch Grand Prix. Is he going to be improving his lap time? The answer is no, he doesn't either. So that's the 1 and 2 sorted out, but who's going to be 3rd or below? Well, Charles Leclerc was improving. He's half a second down in the middle sector though. And he's not setting an improved time. Carlos Sainz up into 5th now. Well, so that's his session done. So that means 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th still need to do their laps. And 2 of those include the Ferrari guys who are coming out of the final sector now. Charles Leclerc goes up into 5th. He manages to displace Sainz. And here comes Lewis Hamilton coming out of the Arie Luyendyk bocht. He is going to be expecting to be in the top 5 here, probably out qualifying his teammates, but he doesn't manage to. He goes into 6th. And that is Ferrari done in 5th and 6th at best, while Max Verstappen and George Russell still need to do their laps, as do Isaac Hadjar, Fernando Alonso, and Liam Lawson. Verstappen down in the first sector, so it's not an improvement for him in the opening part of the lap. George Russell not improving in the middle part as Liam Lawson goes into 7th. A big improvement for the Kiwi. Meanwhile, here comes Russell out of the last corner now. Arie Luyendyk balked. Alonso goes 9th, so very upset. Very disappointing for Alonso there, considering the piece he had in practice. But Russell goes 4th. Verstappen pulls back quite a bit of time in the middle sector. That was an incredible middle sector from Verstappen. He picked up over a 10th there on the McLarens. But I don't think it's going to be enough for him to get pole. Hadjar goes 4th. And that is incredible from the Racing Bull driver. Is Verstappen going to be able to deny the McLarens? No, he's not, and he is in 3rd. So Oscar Piastri on pole, but what a lap from Isaac Hadjar to put himself 4th in that Racing Bull come tomorrow. And that is a brilliant lap from the Racing Bull driver around the circuit Zandvoort to outqualify not only his teammate, but also the 2 Ferraris, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, and Carlos Sainz. So your grid order is Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and then the rest of them just disappeared. So yeah, I'm going to go now, guys, because the United game's on. Thank you guys very much for watching, and there'll be highlights of this posted tonight, hopefully. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye!